man.
Which book? The Winning in the Digital Age.
Yeah. It was not here. It was not available in Pakistan. Only in Malaysia.
Do you have Kindle?
No, I don't have.
Uh, I need to bring you a Kindle
Oh, that's
because
gonna.
it's really worth it, because you can just I have most of my library here as in books is just like this,
Awesome.
e-books, just and even your your document that you sent me, I was reviewing it from here.
Perfect. So it doesn't have the editing option, right?
Editing, you can edit by the pen, as you saw.
Oh, really? It was this. So what is
Yeah,
the price of this one, the one that you're using in
this
Turkey
one
market?
is I think $400.
Okay, it's worth it, man.
Yeah, it
Especially
is,
the tools.
because it's library and notebook as well.
That's true. Two in one.
Yeah, it's very nice. It changed my life, literally.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Inshallah, when you're coming, I'll contact you then.
Inshallah.
All right.
Okay, regarding the document that I sent you over, hold
Yep.
on. Let me just share my screen
Okay.
and discuss the comments over it. Hold on, 1 second. Is my screen clear for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So now at the beginning, I just highlighted some key words,
Okay.
the words that really took my attention, and this is one of the methods that I use when I read anything.
Okay, great.
I keep highlighting. I don't highlight too much. For example, if I want to reread this paragraph,
Okay.
I would reread the keywords and I will get the idea.
Okay.
So that's why I highlighted some keywords.
Great.
But here in the overview, I liked that you mentioned to have a scalable and robust for the ecosystem. But one thing that I have is that the scalability and agility for startups, including Tamkeen itself,
Exactly. That context is missing.
because we need to think in two ways:
True.
a way for Tamkeen and a way for for other startups.
Perfect.
When we because this is the narrowest way of thinking is Tamkeen itself.
Exactly.
The one wider is startups. The widest is the bank that the development bank that we want to create.
Exactly.
So we want to keep the vision ahead of us all the time. So that's why I added this. But in ITIL, there is something which is called VBFs, which is vital business functions. These vital business functions that are not allowed to go down at all.
That's true. That's true.
So we need to highlight these, and it's very important for this word to be highlighted, because we want to determine these vital business functions for Tamkeen. And anything that you mentioned in this document need to be put in a timeline. Not now, but the next step. Once it's approved by the chairman, we need to put everything on the timeline. For example, when you talk about the hardware, software facilities, what hardware are we going to buy and when? So the minimum purchases of, I will bring this later in the fourth or fifth page, but it's very important to put a timeline for all of this. I liked when you mentioned human information technology infrastructure. It's very important, but regarding the standards are part of the information technology components, not a part of the humans. So the standardization, including best practices, because these are documents applied by humans. So that's why I suggest to move the standards to be in the upper section.
Understood.
So when you said competencies, knowledge, and experience, I like this, but I think we need also to add skills. So skills need to be added because yes, there are competencies, yes, there are knowledge, but some people are skilled by birth.
That's true.
Yeah, these they just God gave them bright mind.
That's true.
These people need also to be a part of our ecosystem. So competencies, knowledge, experience, and skills. If we
This
have
should be included inside the human information technology infrastructure.
yeah,
Okay, great. Thank
exactly.
you.
So when we have this, how can I say, this framework, so anyone who wants to be a part of Tamkeen's IT system, or let's say IT environment, we need to look at his competencies, knowledge, experience, and skills.
Great.
After that, here you mentioned shared information technology services.
Exactly.
But the thing is that I asked shared among whom?
Among
Because
Tamkeen itself in the production line and startups.
so
Both too.
because
It again has two
within
aspects.
this, I understand, but within this context, we need
True.
also to identify who our customers are.
Yeah.
Because we have, I edited something here. For example, I like this permit very much, but I added something where
Perfect.
the
I loved it also.
applications that we have, again,
I loved it. The way you put it, like it was missing pieces, like different perspectives were missing, like for whom.
exactly. Who's going to utilize each one of them?
Perfect. The end users were anonymous here.
Exactly. So these people need to be identified.
Perfect.
Because identifying the customers is key thing to know who we are sharing our services with.
Perfect.
Yes, we will have network services, service structures, storage solution, and also other components. But all of these, we need to identify them because, for example, you know, Hishmat, that yes, the war in Afghanistan is over, but another war has emerged very quickly, which is intel and economic war. So everyone is targeting Afghanistan, but everything is being, so the fire is still under the ash.
That's true.
So if we, for example, let me give you a very important example that happens also with Zoom. You know, Zoom, the meeting platform. Yep. They sold all of their information for dark web in Canada. Can you imagine what is going on in the dark web? It's beyond you can imagine. So when we are Afghanistan, we are not some country that we are the only country that defeated the strongest country in the world in the modern time.
That's true.
We are the only country now that its economy is increasing while the rest of the world is decreasing. Can you imagine how the world is looking at Afghanistan now? So if we started using shared services among everyone and anyone without classifying these people, we will jeopardize our information and data, which is our treasury.
That's true.
So that's why we need to look at our business in this perspective.
Understood.
So I'm talking a lot. I hope you will remember everything.
Yeah, inshallah.
So shared and standard IT applications, I'm with you. Regarding this, I am totally with you at the beginning, but also we need to make sure that knowledge management system, we need a knowledge management system. Knowledge it's very important to keep accumulating knowledge since day one of our kickoff. And also we need to know that, for example, the customer relationship management system, this is regarding the previous point. If we use something that is not secured enough or any data, Imagine that our customers and investors' data has been leaked. We will destroy ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Local applications. Regarding the local applications, I think about adding investors' relation and financial affairs. I sensed from the document that you are avoiding to have in-house applications, and I couldn't agree with you more. But there are things that we cannot avoid. For example, investors' data cannot be stored anywhere outside Afghanistan, because these investors, they are putting themselves in risk, in huge risk, just sending them, especially if they are people from Saudi or the Gulf or any Arabic region or even the US or the Western world. So to avoid this, we need to have our own system to make them feel that we care about your security more than you can imagine. And one more thing is that I will come to the other point after that, but all should be linked to Tamkeen's vision. So Tamkeen's vision is to be an Islamic economic engine. To be an engine, we need to have gears that can hold this engine. So we might not depend on these systems for a long time. After 1-2 years, we might have our own or our in-house solution. So this point need to be highlighted at the end of the document, is that everything might change because our strategy is agile and not static. It's dynamic strategy.
That's true.
So because we are going in a minefield now, and yes, we are walking carefully, very slowly, but after a while we need to run. Now we are gaining the experience and the required tools, knowledge, team, infrastructure, etc. After a while, we will go to the hubbing phase and then the running phase. Now we are in the crawling phase.
That's true.
So regarding you have some very nice strategic considerations here. I really admire them, which is critical services. This is what I told you before, the vital business functions. This is the known name in ITIL. Universal and customized implementation and smart outsourcing. Regarding this, I want to add the decision analysis and making framework to be in place.
Okay.
Because
decide on this one.
Yeah, this need to be created. We don't have it now, but it need to be mentioned in your document, because when technology is holding everything. So when we want to take a decision, we need to have our thinking process, how it is structured.
Okay.
So having this way of thinking, how are we going? Which our references? What are our references? So all of these, if we added this, we can have the conclusion, the very nice solution, the conclusion that you provided, that we can pivot skills and disrupt markets.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. So scoping of users, we mentioned this point. And here you mentioned the collaboration enhancement,
Yeah,
but
this was the comment from the AI. So this was not the latest version. Yeah, you see, that's AI generated, which I customized it later on.
No problem. But having the AI will save us. Utilizing AI in a smart way will save us a lot of work.
That's true.
So
usually what I do when I get my final result from AI, I then print that and then proofread it and then comment it. Those comments are back recorded in the digital on the Google Cloud. So for record purposes, then I try working on it until I get the solution. Yeah. So
I agree with you.
Definitely was missing there.
And also, one way I use it is that if I have something that I want to provide to the AI, I use 2 AIs sometimes, and then I compare both results.
That's true.
So if something is missing in one of them, it's not missing in the other.
That's true. The perspectives will be there.
So see this process that we have just said. We need to
Yes.
have it. We need to have this process.
Yes.
Just mention that we will have our own protocol of using AI, because using AI, if it was not controlled by a protocol inside the company, it's going to be a mess. We don't want to have messy situations. Regarding empowering startups with advanced collaboration, I just wanted to add the financial and accounting solutions as well.
Yeah, that one comes under the ERP. Somewhere I mentioned that one. So inside that we have the finance and accounting solutions that is standard part of the ERPs.
I agree with you regarding the ERP if it was used only for Tamkeen. But when we are in producing startups, we need to have our own, because our products, which is the startups, need to be monitored. We will come to that. For this point exactly, we want to come to that because look at the last two lines. These startups are Tamkeen's product. So they have to be fostered and monitored to be sold successfully.
That's
So if
true. With
when
regards
you
to,
have, yeah,
yeah, well, just not to forget, just an idea came to my mind because I was working on it and thinking over it, is that you see some of the solutions are there, we can get their licenses. A good example is the one that we got a quotation for $19,000. They have a business license from, let's say, from Odoo. And what they have done is that they have just applied a customization. And that customization they done through Indian developers. They just have a team here who are managing the accounts of the clients. So what we can do, inshallah, what you mentioned here is that to have our own system, we can come up with a lot of smart outsourcing, smart licensing strategies. An example that I mentioned to you. So expertise, as alhamdulillah, is part of my expertise that I've been outsource management. So there are options we need to discuss, inshallah, in further meetings. That what are the ways that I think are suitable for Tamkeen in order to avoid reinventing the wheel and being more strategic.
I like that. Yes. If you can mention this in your document, that would be brilliant.
Yep. Yep.
The point that I want to concentrate on, to emphasize a little bit more, is that financial and accounting solution for Tamkeen's startups. Because
Exactly.
exactly,
Tamkeen,
because this is our
exactly.
product.
Tamkeen will have a scalable option. So, for example, let's say the license that we will be getting, that will act as a SaaS, a software as a service. So
Yeah.
that itself means scalability. So for each of our company until it's sold, we will have our licenses for them. So what we can do as part of the profit, like what these guys are doing here, we will sell back these services to them. So this way, we know what we are doing for them and we know what their needs are. This is one of the very successful ways that we have done back in Malaysia, and I have to be honest, extended and customized this for Tamkeen. And this was what I didn't mention in the document. I said, okay, let me mention this with Abu Malik here, that how we can play this just to get back the revenue to Tamkeen as part of playing this one.
Okay, can you just re-explain the idea for me?
Okay, great. So what happens that once we get the license from one of the ERP providers around the world, let's take an example of Odoo.
Okay.
So Tamkeen will be the license holder, let's say paying $3,000 to the Odoo ERP solution provider. So through that, we have the right to give licenses or
resellers.
Exactly, reselling. So we will give commission back to the Odoo. This way, what we do is that either we can get the source code or we get the cloud solution. So they have different packages. Let's say Tamkeen goes with the source code. It manages the source code and then gets the upgrades and everything. So Tamkeen will have a service. Each startup that they have, it will install it. So that becomes, let's say, abc.tamkeen.vc. def.tamkeen.vc. So let's say at any stage that the startup is being purchased by a potential investor, what we do, we just give them their solution, and then we will charge them as the other company in Afghanistan that they're charging people. So at this, via this model, what we become a solution provider, we become a software house, we become an incubator house, and we become a startup studio. So we respect and we cover broad perspectives by having such strategic thoughts.
Okay, let me just make sure that when you provide this idea, it's a brilliant idea. I'm not saying it's not, but you need to make sure that we are not jeopardizing the key business line of Tamkeen. What you have just mentioned now is a startup. It's another startup. So if Tamkeen went through this, how can I say, this process that you have just mentioned now, okay? If Tamkeen went through this process, that means we are starting to lose concentration on what we are really doing, which is serving the Afghani economy by producing startups.
That's true.
So to be able to avoid this scenario where we lose concentration, we need to make sure that we are really in line with the business. So let me just show you something, because I've been in this situation before, Hishmat, and I really like how you think, but I need also to make sure that we are not losing concentration.
Perfect.
So look, I will show you. This is from my other device. I hope you can see my screen now. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay. Look, if we said that this is Tamkeen, okay? So Tamkeen has, in the meantime, we have only two business lines, yes?
Sure.
Which is creating startups and what's selling startups.
Yep.
But regarding the technology, your model is really perfect if we put it in the right place, which is to be one of the startups here. So let's say resell technology. Okay, this is an idea because we have a void in the Afghani market. So this is a very profitable business. So if Tamkeen needed something, if Tamkeen needed something from one of these internal departments, which is IT or investment, etc., anything, where are we going to purchase it from? We will purchase it from our own startup.
Exactly.
See, but it is not a part of Tamkeen.
Yeah, that's another approach we can take that. You're right. You went much in depth into it. I just give the overview, and we can make a startup for that depending on the scope of it. But this is just like a very bird eye view that I explained, that how we can come up with such a strategic move. And every innovation, every solution, as we all know, is based on the necessity. And it all depends how depth we are in. And now talking of the software solution providers in Afghanistan, I know what's happening here. I know the ecosystem. I know every guy, every major whale in the Afghan society in terms of the software developments. And
Hashmat, you can suggest your startup. You can suggest it. You can put it as one of the early startups of the company.
That is something we inshallah will work. Now I've been working so tirelessly on another approach which I was not about to say, but let me just give some.
I, I want to show you this book. This is in Arabic
جيد إلى
here.
العظيم.
من جيد إلى عظيم, which is, I read the English version. It's called Good to Great.
Good to
This is for,
go. I
yeah.
read it and I forgot that book.
Yeah.
I purchased that one in Kinokuniya in Kuala Lumpur back in
Yeah.
year 2017. Good
Exactly.
to great.
It's old, but it's very great book. One of the key things that keep companies going from good to great is the concentration on its own business model, which we need to have this to keep this in mind. So
Exactly. I remember in this book they mentioned that good is the enemy of great, and vice
exactly.
versa. So we do believe in that one. And inshallah, as long as we have the growth, I always persuade guys here and there that guys try to discuss, try to talk, try to share the values of yourself so that we understand what our capabilities are. And again, as I said, when I saw the need here, like just imagine you are just reselling the services for $19,000 comparing to Microsoft that we had 5 meetings and they said we are going to put this entire system for $2,000.
Ah.
So you see the gap there. These guys are like, playing the Monopoly game. Like, come on, man, $19,000, and what are you doing that? To be honest, two of my colleagues were juniors, and one of my cousins is working there. They're really killing it, man. They're really killing it from their business perspective, but not from God's perspective, from Ummah's perspective, from Prophet
Yes.
Muhammad's perspective. You see, we need to have a combination of different perspectives, which is to dunya and akhirah. And
Exactly.
this gives us, alhamdulillah, a very good perspective how we can enter. Tamkeen has a very good budget. Tamkeen has a very good mindset. It is inspired by engineers. So if that is the case, why not we come up with ways that nobody ever has done that before? And I say it all depends on the depth of the need, and that drives the innovation.
And that's very good. You can put that in Tamkeen's pipeline. And if the guys that you have just mentioned are ready and they have the ability to start the business, they have to be one of the earliest startups to get in our production line.
Exactly. We alhamdulillah have great ideas. Now one part of it is that how we capture ideas. So plan of this one is that I'm thinking to what do you call it? Whatever meeting we take, we record that.
Yeah,
So
I
we
agree
record that
yes.
one, and then using AI, we summarize that. We put back to whichever people that we have met, and confirming that these were the takeaways of the meetings, making sure that we have not missed even a single thing. Whatever is on the document is on the document. We have it, but most of the things like what we discussed are not part of the document. So we want to capture those, and this comes to me from the inspiration that I did with the Air Asia. So they were having so beautiful ideas, but they didn't have time. So we took permission from them and said, guys, we need you guys, and we please allow us for having a microphone recording your voice. So they said, okay, we're good to go as long as the data is secured. And then we captured very good. That was back in 2016. So we did assign 2 account team members to just translate those to user stories and capture it back in the backlog. So alhamdulillah, the mindset is there. How we leverage AI at every stage just to make the things perfect and not to miss even a single data, if that's the voice, if whatever medium of communication.
Great. So I need this to keep it in mind, but don't mention it as one of Tamkeen's responsibilities.
Yep.
Or let's say business line,
Yeah,
because I don't want
share.
Sheikh Salah to be afraid. He's a guy that really concentrates on what he wants.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Just
So
share the possibilities of the creativity.
exactly, share the possibilities. If we have the ability, technology department in Tamkeen will provide the ability for the production line to go on.
Exactly.
including this idea that you have just mentioned, other ideas, other startups. We need to finalize 6 startups, including Tamkeez, within the coming 6 months. So
Exactly.
we really can start as soon as possible.
And that's true. Abu Malik, one more thing. The strategy that I mentioned is very vital, is very effective for high-level managers, for the top management. Why? There's a very good research done in the business, in the Harvard Business Review. The top management guys don't have time. They are busy with tons of things because their time is more valued compared to those who are coming new to the company. So using AI is becoming more effective. Why? Because it just saves their time by summarizing what they have said that they could not write because of lack of time. So they can just share their mind with AI and they can just document it. So we can just
That's
take the
why
summaries.
that's why we need to have Tamkin's protocol for AI usages.
Perfect, which I mentioned and I took
Yeah.
note of that one.
Here I mentioned, in my opinion, we need to have a software for Tamkin that will be built in-house to foster our specific strategic needs, such as the needs that don't have available solutions in the market, like off the shelf, or others we need with high security and integrity, such as startups valuation in real-time manner. Startup valuation is a mess in the world, and I mentioned this before.
I remember.
We need exactly as soon as the startup comes to us, the valuation will start calculating who's in the startup. How we need to have this. See this line? This is a hell of a lot of work. But
And
if we made it right, you know you will be sure that it will make a difference in the whole world.
I truly understand what you're coming from. This is an atomic sentence. It is, if we throw it to the person in charge, he will be bombarded with the workload that he will have for his entire team
Yes,
in terms of the
exactly.
requirements that he will come up, the what metrics, so that
I
we
will
can
I
build
will
it.
throw this bomb on Al Zubair, and and also you need to be with him to support him
Perfect,
regarding the IT,
perfect, perfect.
because the current valuation in the meantime is like how can I say, is like lottery.
True, true, true.
If a lot of people buy your stock, your valuation is up. If a lot of people don't, you'll go down. So based on what you are being valuated,
That's true, that's
it's
true.
all wrong. So we need to change this norm and disrupt it.
That's true, that's true. I really admire the idea there.
And one more thing is Tamkeen's AI for market analysis and predictions. We will have our own data that is not available on the internet. Okay, so we want our own AI engine. And now, developing AI engine now is not that hard in the meantime.
That's true.
So we need to have our own AI engine to analyze our own data. Last thing also regarding security, like investors' data and reporting info, we mentioned that before.
Yes.
So this is why Tamkeen is not just a venture capitalist, nor just a bank. It's a data company.
True.
So we need to concentrate on this.
Perfect.
One more thing I want to put is data sources. Data sources are vital. So our information, what are the sources that we are going to get? Your department will be responsible to gather the data, either from Afghani government, from the internet, from research companies, from the market itself, from these data sources need to be controlled, protected, and stored in a proper way.
That's true. That's true. I remember one example. The website elaw.my is Malaysia's biggest court cases website. So it captures tons of, all the cases of Malaysia. So what happened at some point, we found out that there was a website in UK. They released an open data, and that was for limited time. So what happened that we leveraged, or in other words, exploited their API, and we hired like 8 fresh graduates. and we captured all the data and put it into the database. And they stated that anybody can take this data. They closed it
Wow.
back. They closed it back. And now that company is targeting UK just based on that data. Would you believe it? Because why? The elo.my that I remember, there are two branches. One is in Kuching province and one is in the Kuala Lumpur where I was working. So they just capture the data from courts every day. Whatever case happens, they capture it. And that is given the right by the government of the country. So once we saw the opportunity that, come on, the UK government is putting the entire commercial law, entire commercial cases, in corporate cases, open data, that's crazy. Like, what is happening? So they leveraged, and now they have developed a solution for that. And they're going well, man. That's because of the data. They took the opportunity, which was very open for a little time.
And you can imagine, Hishmat, this great story that you have just mentioned in a saturated market.
True, true.
Malaysia is saturated market.
So much.
But Afghanistan is a virgin market.
Man, this is so raw. Trust me. You just bring a solution here. I know this country. I know the environment. It's so thirsty. We have the money. Trust me. Every authority, every department I go there, these guys are like, man, this is my dream job. This is my dream office. You guys have the money. What else you have? Everything is yours. Like that Netlinks company is a software house, and these guys have like got tons of money, you know, during the American projects, and now they can do whatever they want, and they're monopolizing the country because they have the backup of the money from the US government. And one more thing I need to reveal to you, that yesterday one of the VIPs in the Ministry of E-commerce revealed to me that all the existing companies are profiting to act as an exit liquidity. They're all
As
going
what?
out as an exit liquidity.
Exit liquidity?
Yes, means that they will use this money to go out of this country and operate back in the other countries. So all
Why
of
is
them are
that?
yeah, because they're frustrated with the, you know, because 20 years, man, the other government has worked on their mentality, and this was very shocking for me. Yesterday I was sitting there until like 12 o'clock, and once they were mentioning, man, this was crazy. They were saying like, you guys are the first that have 5 years of mission. Others are just coming. We know them, that they're registering their licenses and what their thoughts are when we are doing the reviews of their work, of their activities. So they saw a very good potential for Tamkeen if they say that you stick to what you are mentioning in terms of your plan.
Great. Inshallah, yani, if we plan this in a very good way, with tawakkul ala Allah, inshallah, we will be able to achieve what we are looking for. Because the framework that you put here together is very impressive. But I just pinpoint some gaps. I hope you will be able to.
I really thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Alhamdulillah. So now regarding the strategic decision making and investment insights, we need to make sure that the data management and analytics is to be our own. Sure. Like I mentioned before, we are a data company more than anything else.
That's true.
So regarding the resource allocation, identifying synergies, and that's it. So these three columns of data management analytics, I think it's also we need regarding decision making is good, resource allocation is good, identifying synergies between startups, good. Yes, but we also need to something more, which is the predictive analysis, where you look beyond the data and expect what is going to happen next year, next 5 years. Here in this section 1, you mentioned something regarding the market trends. Yes, I agree with you, but I want something where the level where we because we have data that no one else have. So we will be able to discover gaps no one else discovered. Not regarding, like in the first one, the current startups. No, regarding things that are not even visible to anyone else, even the government.
That's true.
So the predictive data analysis is something more, because, and one more thing I added here, how it works section need more elaboration. How it works in every section. You mentioned also what will be done. What? But when you say how, like, are you going to bring technology or do 1, 2, 3? It's not there. So if you changed how it works, this word, if you change it to benefits, if it benefits and impact, if you put, this is a suggestion. At the end, it's your document, but I suggest to put benefits. So leveraging AI-driven, unexplored area of opportunity, etc. This is the benefit, and it also applies on also other sections like here. Where was it? Ah, sorry, down here. How it works. It's also, you are talking about benefits. If you think this is, if this is applicable, you can do it. Maybe the mentioned services in the page will require us to have our own software to be dependent on the profile. This is what I just mentioned, no problem. Now, here I mentioned something which is regarding the problem discovery, data analysis, etc. Data analysis should prevent startups from making avoidable mistakes. So if someone is doing something, sorry for this word, stupid, from one of these entrepreneurs, he's a bright guy, but he's a loser regarding accounting, and he's doing some accounting mistakes. We won't be able to prevent him from destroying his own company and our investment by something stupid, because he's just naive. True. Our data analysis needs to pinpoint regarding this one. And this is what this is problem discovery, also preventive problem discovery. I mentioned this point also here. Pitch deck, we can here use AI to build documents. The amount of documents, Hishmat, that will come from our work is enormous.
Exactly.
We cannot create every document.
I understand what you're talking. 100%. This is what I mentioned to the previous CTO, that the wordings sound very, like, gigantic, but they are not. I've shared an example with them that what we can build upon. So all the previous data from procedures, like we have an outcome, those will be shared to producing such data. The presentations, the pitch decks that we are talking.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. So I understand what's happening there.
Because we are, how can I say, Tamkeen is not an ordinary company. We need to think also in not an ordinary way. Regarding point number 9, I suggest you, if you can, either add it here or add number 10, real-time startup valuation. Real-time, because in any second, an investor come to me and he want to purchase a startup, I will be able to provide him with accurate valuation based on a very fair criteria.
Exactly. That is only done through a table.
Again, sir?
I mean, that's a table with different columns. So he will be here to see the market cap, the last 30 days performance, last 40 days performance. So exactly. It will be all based on the data that is pumped that will be giving that number.
And also, yes, that's a very important point. Thank you. If the entrepreneur who's leading the startup is not entering data on a daily basis, his valuation will be degraded.
Exactly. And that comes based on the task management and the project management principle, that there should be, like, the sprints, the retrospectives, the daily stand-ups. So that procedure will be there, the task assignment, the task delegation. So a proper management.
I couldn't agree with you more, but that point is very important to be added.
All right, noted.
Here, regarding the cybersecurity audit and observation, I agree with you. We need to have auditing and oversight through third party, but it should be for a limited time only. Okay. And regarding the cybersecurity firm, is it a local or international? I suggest to be local.
Great.
Okay. Cyber threats, they will come. We will face threats more than you can imagine. We need to be prepared. That's why I really liked when you mentioned the resilience. I added a note regarding the conclusion that you have mentioned. While doing this, we will build our own security practices and protocols. We will design also our data center. After a while, Hishmat, I think, inshallah, we will have a data center.
Yeah, indeed.
So we need to keep looking at the strategic view, mentioning the current situation. Regarding training and skill development, see, you mentioned skill here, and it is very important. So the collaboration with local consultants with international practices, methodologies, and experiences.
That's true.
So yes, I agree we need to work with local consultants, but these consultants, they need to have the international practices such as yourself.
Authorized partnerships.
Either way, but we need something to be, because we are not alone in this world.
True.
We also need coaching for some people. We might need coaching also. At the end, we need to mention that knowledge to be adopted at the beginning of Tamkeen's life.
That's true. And what do we mean by knowledge exactly in terms of technology?
The knowledge in training and skill development. Here, this is I'm talking here about the Tamkeen ecosystem. That knowledge, I mean knowledge management, knowledge system, knowledge accumulation,
the one you pointed
everything
out.
regarding knowledge. You are right. It's a little bit ambiguous.
That's true.
So it should be from the beginning of our life, since yesterday, not today.
That's true.
That's why I mentioned here that ITIL version 4 framework will help us massively.
All right.
Because I have the materials, I can share it with you, but I need to take the permission of the authors before I send it to you.
Great.
Regarding the vendor and partnership management, we need also to utilize supplier management in ITIL. That's why I mentioned here ITIL version 4 is very.
Refer to that one.
Here, regarding the vendor management, we need to have a plan.
That's true.
And that's what I told you. Just mention that we will plan it. Don't plan now. It's not
perfect.
We need this document to be launched as soon as possible. But mention that we will plan for it. For each 6 months, we will have our update of who are our IT suppliers. That's why regarding contract negotiation and SLA, this should be, yes, IT is going to be the sponsor of it, but also one of the responsibles are the legal department in Tamkeen.
That's true.
And also the vendor selection, everything regarding vendors, we need to have our own standards to be developed and selection criteria.
Okay.
So other than this, I don't have anything else. But yes, the CTO, we need also, after a while, CTO is not enough. We need a CIO for information officer.
Okay. So what if you put two in one, or we do a separate?
It's up to you.
All right.
You take that decision. You see the environment, you take that decision, but keep this matter in your mind.
All right.
Because I saw it in a telecommunication company in Saudi where they separated them because the team was really confused between technology and information themselves.
Okay.
So people start, the technical people are thinking technology all the time.
That's true.
But If you bring analysts, people who work with information all the time, they will bring you another value.
That's true. So this is what we faced back when I was doing the outsource management. So we came up with a framework for the entire department. We said that the needs should be quite clear and crystal. Meaning, if we miss the requirements, we will face a very strange freelancer who cannot do the job, but he can market itself for you. So we need to have the right requirements. Then only we can come up with the right idea for that.
I agree with you. And this, what you have just mentioned, is the IIBA methodology.
Yep.
You know IIBA?
I heard it, but I forget it. I will relearn it.
No. IIBA is the International Institute of Business Analysis.
All right. That's great.
So because it is a, look at this. This is the IIBA knowledge areas. These are the knowledge areas of IIBA. You can see them here. So at the beginning, you do business analysis planning. You plan for the analysis.
True.
Elicitation and collaboration. You bring on the data, gather them. In the meantime, you keep mentioning, what are your requirements?
That's true. The cycle management, yeah.
After that, you go to the inner circle where you do the strategy analysis, define the solution, and you define the analysis.
That's true.
So this is I'm a member in the I'm a member in IIBA.
Mashallah.
If you go here, it's iiba.org. This is the International Institute of Business Analysis. I will do my best. I will see if I can download the book and send it to you. It's a very usable book.
Inshallah, I'll take a look at that. And
It's like a catalog. You can all the time open it, use it. It's very usable.
Send it to me, the soft copy.
I will do my best to download it.
Great.
I hope I will be able through my account.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, regarding this, you mentioned department leadership. You have a chief technology officer, and then you changed. Is this number 2 another leadership, or this is another the infrastructure manager?
No. So there will be one guy. Definitely, there should be a head, right? And the rest, I said, the infrastructure current state. What's happening right now? A baseline team composition. So infrastructure manager is required. And,
okay, so now you need to make it clear. Remember, this document, once you finish it, it's going to be translated in Arabic. So every word matters.
Yeah.
So you can put a note that current situation is we have this only. And the next situation is to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sheikh Salah need to read everything, because once he approves this for you, you can launch. So put the words that will give you the approval, please.
Great.
So now you need, for example, infrastructure manager and data manager, analyst, and these people. So you consider what is the role for each one of them. By the way, the role is very high level.
Yep.
If you can just elaborate a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
Last thing, directions on technology infrastructure department. I like this very much. That's why I didn't have a lot to add here, but you will start with task management, and please mention here that this is only for 6 months only.
Okay.
And we need also this to be this will be updated and improved every 6 months. That's why I told you here that the scoping should be a little bit more clear. Other than this, I have nothing more to add. Mashallah, you covered mostly everything. Regarding knowledge development need, I don't have anything to add here. It's pretty more than what we need. It's very, very straightforward. But really, I like the document. Jazakallah khair for the effort. if you can just this update that we have mentioned, and inshallah we can